Hello YouTube, it is your host Sage the Samurai here, and welcome to the channel. Guys, today I'm here to bring you guys an announcement. Number one, I'm back. And number two, I'm about to go back on vacation. Well, it's not really vacation, but again, more fixes to my house, I guess. I don't really know. They just continue with the fixes and everything. Either way, I'm going to be once again not be able to record as I'm going on another trip, but I at least want to leave you guys with at least one video. So here it is. But another thing, guys, I'm here to announce another part 2. What if Asta had Acnologia's powers? You guys have been loving the series, and I've been enjoying it myself. And also, I'm really glad that the series has took off as much as it did. So here's another part to it. So once again, thank you all so much for your support. I really hope to see you guys continue watching my what ifs, as the new what ifs that I'm thinking of are actually being created. It's just I'm not finished, creating the thumbnails and everything, but you guys will see them eventually. But besides that, guys, it's your host HG Samurai here, and he's heading off to now do the what if. So let's begin.
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do?
Alright guys, let's begin this what if. Hopefully you guys do enjoy, and either way, let's begin. So we now begin this what if with Asta and Yuno as we see them currently arrive at Hodge Village to stop an attack aimed by the reincarnated elf at the villagers that were currently still alive at Hodge Village. As soon as they arrive, they will block the attack just as it was about to hit Neej, who tried stepping up and protect Sister Lily, but all of us knew he was not going to do anything. Good job, Neej. We'll take it from here. Both Asta and Yuno would say at the same time, as this is when Asta would then pick up on the foul scent of poison that was currently infesting a lot of the villagers of Hodge Village. As Asta would look around, he would eventually end up seeing the leader of the church, who currently was down, and he was currently filled to the brink with poison and was slowly but surely dying. This will piss off Asta, as the reincarnated elf would then begin to curse at him. "You dare get in my way, you filthy humans? I'll annihilate you." As soon as he finished saying those words, he would then send out a bunch of poisonous vines directly towards Asta and Yuno. Now, Yuno seeing this would easily blow them away with wind magic, while Asta avoids the attack entirely. However, Asta was pissed off. At this, he would then rush at the reincarnated elf at top speeds, as he would try using his poisonous vines to hit Asta and stop him, but Asta was way too fast for him. In a very split instant, Asta would then appear right in front of him with a dragon's claw, as he would then suddenly slam into his stomach. "Don't you dare mess with Hodge Village!" As soon as saying these words, Asta would then suddenly slam him into the wall, knocking out the reincarnated elf and winning the fight in an instant. As after that, the rest of the villagers in Hodge Village that were currently not poisoned would all look at Asta surprised before they all cheer for him, while Yuno goes on and scoffs. Show off. Now after this, Asta would then turn to the rest of the poisoned people, and unfortunately a lot of them had already passed away, while some that were still alive were slowly getting there. Now Asta would then suddenly open his mouth as he begins to absorb all the poison. Now this would surprise everyone as he just eats up the poison that was currently infesting in them, as after that the purple markings that were from the poison would then disappear as the villagers would then get up being completely fine. Now of course, seeing this, everyone would then begin to cheer once again, while Asta talks to Yuno, telling him that it's better off that they split up so that way they can cover more ground. And with that being said, Yuno would understand the message as he then decides to walk off, preparing to go on his own, while of course the rest of the orphanage would then rush over to them, telling them that they'll miss him and to tell them to be careful, with Sister Lily hoping that they'll be alright. Now after taking care of everything, making sure that the rest of the people were still alive, Asta would then suddenly jump off to the next direction as he was sensing very familiar mana at play. As this is where we now change scenes. We start off with a bunch of villagers screaming in panic as they run away from their village that was currently being destroyed by a battle between two magic knights, this being the reincarnated elf, Luck, against Magma. As we now turn to them, we start off with Magma panting as he will look down to the ground as he was currently down on one knee. Now of course, seeing this, the reincarnated elf will then look at Magma. "Why you keep getting in my way, you pathetic human?" As Luck, seeing that Magma was on one knee, would then shoot off a ginormous lightning bolt at him, which Magma would then suddenly jump for cover. Now at this, Magma would end up rolling out of the way as he would currently be leaning on the wall, holding his shoulder in pain as he begins to think about what to do next. Gosh dang it. At this, we will now do a flashback. When Magma was fighting Luck in the dungeon, or, well, in the Midnight Sun's base, the fight had gone on quite well as Magma was actually holding his own quite well. After all, his trap magic plus a small environment did wonders for his abilities, as well as his combat prowess. However, this is when suddenly a ginormous hole would then be formed as something got shot out of the base, and seeing the ginormous hole, the reincarnated elf would then suddenly jump out to wreak chaos, with Luck having no choice but to follow after him. Then one thing led to another, and then here they were, as this is where we now end the flashback. As Magma will be thinking about how everything got to this point, this is when suddenly he will then have to dodge another bolt of lightning that will destroy the area where he was hiding. Come out, you pathetic human. You're no match for me. Just hurry up and die. Now, of course, hearing this, Mag will end up laughing. Oh, please, how about you shut up? It doesn't matter what type of magical boost that you got or how powerful you ever were. Cause let me tell you right now, it doesn't matter at all to me. I'm still gonna be kicking your ass. As just like that, Magma will then suddenly rush over towards the reincarnated elf, who ends up laughing at him as he shoots a generous bolt of lightning at him. Magma, seeing the attack and having his senses honed from training with Asta, would easily dodge out of the way as he would then suddenly shoot out multiple fireballs. Now, of course, seeing the attack, Luck would just scoff as he would try to avoid them, but this one suddenly, the fireball would then vanish and appear right in front of him. What? As the reincarnated elf was actually caught off guard by this one suddenly flaming chains would then erupt from the fireball as it was preparing to wrap around Luck. Seeing this, Manuel then laughed, saying that although Luck was faster than him, he was definitely not as smart. However, this was suddenly the reincarnated elf would then smirk, as if a pathetic human can never talk to me that way. I'm gonna annihilate you. At this, just as the flaming chains were about to wrap around Luck, this one suddenly he would then vanish, as the reincarnated elf would then appear right in front of Magma. You pathetic human, you had no chance at all. Now, this is the end. At this, Luck would then suddenly slam a lightning bolt into Magma's stomach. However, just as he does so, Magma would have a smirk on his face. Gotcha. This one suddenly flaming chains would then shoot out of Magma's stomach as they would then pierce through Luck's, causing him to gasp, as the magic levels that were once high would then go to the lowest he's ever gone before. What's going on? The reincarnated elf would then ask, as he would then lose the transformation, looking like normal Luck except with the markings and the pointy ears, as he would wonder what was going on, only to get a punch to the face. Oh, that's nothing more but me evening the odds. Now, of course, hearing this, the reincarnated elf would then feel once again boiling rage, as he would then throw a right hook at Magma, who dodges out of the way, as he would then suddenly slam Luck with a punch to the stomach, causing him to be sent flying back slightly. Now, at this point, the once magical battle will then go into a boxing match, as Magma and the reincarnated elf will then begin to swing at each other. Now, the battle goes on as, unfortunately for Luck, Magma was way too developed, as well as the fact when it came down to stamina, he was honestly one of the better halves of the Black Bulls. So due to that, when it came down to stamina and endurance, Magma ends up winning, as with a powerful uppercut, he would then knock out Luck and win the fight against the reincarnated elf. You see, you bastard? I told you, it didn't matter what type of magical boost you had, it wouldn't stop me from kicking your ass. As Magma would look down at the defeated Luck, he would then scream up into the sky with a smile on his face, as this one suddenly he would then hear clapping. Ah, nice job, Magma. At this, Magma would then turn around to see none other than Asta, as seeing him there, he would then have a ginormous smile on his face. Asta, do you see how I beat up Luck? At this, Asta would nod. Yeah, you're super manly. Now, hearing this, Magma would just begin to laugh as he begins to boast about, of course, he was going to be manly, especially having a senpai like him. As after that, Asta would then walk over to the reincarnated elf that was currently still passed out, as he would then open his mouth to then absorb the reincarnated spell. Now, after absorbing it, the reincarnated elf's soul would then suddenly lift up into the air, as he was just hoping things could have been different. As he would then move on to the afterlife, with Asta and Magma looking on with the resigning expression. Later on, Luck does eventually end up waking up, as he would then remember all the things that just happened, and he will feel immense guilt, especially since the fact he attacked a fellow comrade and someone he saw as a brother. However, Magma would then begin to give him that talk, telling him that, you know what, it doesn't matter, and at the end of the day, we're still Nakama. And after hearing this, of course, Luck ends up crying just like he does in canon, as after that, the emotional moment ends up showing, as this is where Luck once again realized that he made the right choice in joining the Black Bulls. As after the emotional moment had passed, this is when Asta would then begin to speak up, as he begins to explain about the whole situation. And after explaining everything, the trio would then decide that they were going to go and get the rest of the Black Bulls, so that way they can all team up and take on the Eye of the Midnight Sun. So with that being said, Asta ends up picking both Luck and Magma, since they're both out of magic thanks to Magma's, certain spell, as he will then jump up into the air to the Black Bull's base direction. And by the way, Asta, he can fly if he's in his dragon form. He doesn't really do it much, of course, for certain reasons. But what he does do is like he sort of like hulks it, like, you know, he just jumps up into the ground and then goes into the area. Just wanted you guys to know, of course. But besides that, guys, let's continue on. So after a while of just going through the air and jumping from place to place, they would eventually end up arriving at the Black Bulls base, only to see that the base had been destroyed. Now in this one, they were not attacked by Rades or Sally or any of the other ones since, well, they're no longer around. But however, the base was destroyed as they would then see Vanessa, Gray, Gordon, and also Henry, who had just been revealed. Now, of course, seeing them all, Vanessa would then run over to the boys as she would then embrace them in a hug. As, of course, seeing this, Asta would then ask her what's been going on, to which this is when we then get the flashback and the explanation. Now, the Black Bulls were just chilling, relaxing, doing what they normally do. However, as they were doing so, this one suddenly Ghost would then gain familiar glow, as he was just stuck there, frozen. Now, of course, seeing this, the rest of the Black Bulls that are currently there would then ask Ghost if he was okay, only for him to straight up attack them. Now, at first, they would think that this was pretty normal for Ghost, as anyone that was near him when he was during his, Marie time, he would straight up just attack them out of nowhere. However, this time it was different, as he was actually going for the kill. Now, this would actually end up causing him to realize that something was off about Ghost, as he would continue attacking them while muttering how they were disgusting human. Now, the Black Bulls that are currently there tried teaming up together so that way they could restrain Ghost, and they do end up doing a good job. However, Ghost was having none of it in the end, as with a ginormous reflect reframe, he ends up destroying a large part of the base, setting the Black Bulls flying, and also making a ginormous hole for him to escape. Now, after this, he was planning on finishing them off. However, this one suddenly, inside the very Black Bulls base, a ginormous fist or room or whatever would then get sent flying directly towards Ghost, causing him to be sent flying out of the base and right outside of it. Now, this will surprise the Black Bulls, as this is when we then get the introduction of Henry, who ends up walking out saying that he was not going to let Ghost act this way to his friends, which ends up causing the Black Bulls to wonder exactly who this guy was, as Ghost then prepares to attack, causing him to get on guard. However, as he does so, he would then scoff and then go towards the Clover Kingdom, saying that the next time he sees them, he will end them personally, as he then dashes off, leaving the Black Bulls behind, as they could do nothing more but stare in disbelief. As after that, we now cut the flashback, as we now turn to the present to see Magma, getting pissed off, as he swears to punch Ghost in the face next time he sees him. However, this one suddenly he then stops and then turns to Henry, asking him who exactly was he. As soon as he tries to approach Henry, he will then feel the drain in his mana, as he goes down to the ground, as he was extremely low on mana already. Now, of course, seeing this, Magma ends up, crawling away from Henry, wondering who exactly was he, as this is when Asta began to explain about who Henry was and how exactly did he meet him. Now, this is where we now get the introduction of Henry. Nothing much really changes here. He ends up staying at the Black Bulls base, how he's the owner of it, how he met Yami, and also how he met Asta, which, unlike in canon where Asta didn't have magic and he was able to get along with Henry, in this one, Asta had so much magic that Henry's curse was always, whenever Asta was around, would go directly towards Asta, as he had a ginormous source of mana that seemed just endless, like it never had an ending point. And so due to this, Henry and Asta actually end up becoming good friends, as whenever Asta shows up, he would just end up giving Henry some food, telling him about what's been going on, also giving Henry some advice on what he should do next, with Henry doing nothing more but listening with a smile on his face, calling Asta his friend. As after that, we now go back to the present, as the rest of the Black Bulls, after hearing this, would then all smile as they actually acknowledge Henry as one of the Black Bulls, and saying that he was actually one of the OG ones, which caused Henry to have a smile on his face, realizing that now he could actually fight alongside with his friends. However, after doing this is when Asta would then give them the rundown about what's been happening, as after that the Black Bulls then decide that they need to team up together to take on the Ides of Midnight Sun, and due to that they then decide that they need to recruit the others as well. However, right before they do so, they end up encountering a few shenanigans, like they end up meeting Charmy, who ends up coming out of the forest, who at first they thought was a reincarnated elf, but only to realize that she only has some grape sauce on her face, and also the fact that she was very pissed off that the fact that her garden was destroyed by Ghost, which she found out after interrogating the rest of the Black Bulls. So after finding out everything, she then decides to accompany them, so that way she can punch Ghost in the face for destroying her garden. However, as she does so, she would then realize that a lot of them did not have a lot of mana, except for Asta, who just had endless amounts, as she would then suddenly end up creating just special foods, so that way they can increase their mana. Now, of course, due to this, the rest of the Black Bulls begin to eat, with Asta just eating due to the fact that, he just likes food, with the rest of them eating so that way they can replenish their mana. Henry also ends up devouring as well, as he was just happy to eat along with his friends, as after retaining his mana, he ends up actually making a ginormous Black Bull mecha, which allows them to actually travel. So with that, the rest of the Black Bulls will then hop in, and just like that, they then begin to rush towards the Clover Kingdom as they end up taking the battle to the eye of the Midnight Sun. As this is where we're now going to turn our attention to the rest of the Black Bulls, the ones that were now accompanied by our main character. We start off with Finral, who currently right now is at the Clover Kingdom, eating some food, only to be attacked by a couple reincarnated elves. Now Finral was easily able to knock them out in a green flash, as he had been trained by Asta and had been training ever since, and so due to that he was easily able to take care of these guys like they were nothing. However, as he does so, he wouldn't end up sensing familiar mana, as he ends up having a very bad feeling in a different location. As we now change scenes, we would then see Longoris, Finral's brother, who's currently right now holding the king of the Clover Kingdom hostage, as he was telling him that he was a pathetic human, and today was the day that they were all gonna fall and pay for their crimes. Now hearing this, Longoris' parents tried to talk him out of it. However, this one he would then just straight up attack the father's arm, causing it to be destroyed in an instant, and causing him to scream out in pain while the wife screams out in shock and in fear. As after doing so, he would then tell them to shut up, as he then turns to the king of the Clover Kingdom, trying to attack him, only for a green flash to appear and hold his wrist. It seems as if you haven't learned from your lesson, huh? I guess I'll have to beat you up once again. Now at this, we will then see Finral, who will then appear, as this will cause his parents to actually look at him in surprise, as they were not expecting to see Finral again. Now Longoris, who was being held by Finral, will then begin to get angry, as he asks Finral how dare he hold on to him. As he then shoves Finral's arm away, he would then throw a spatial attack at Finral, who avoids it in a green flash and appear right in front of him. I guess you still haven't learned your lesson, huh? I guess I'm just gonna have to beat the crap out of you once again. At this, Finral would then suddenly open a portal without needing to move his arms around, as a portal would then open up for the king of the Clover Kingdom as well as his parents. Get out of here. At this, the king would nod instantly, while his parents would actually look hesitant. At this, Finral would begin to speak in a very cold tone. I said get out of here. You're nothing more but a useless waste of space. The only thing you're going to bring me is a disadvantage in this fight. Now, of course, hearing this and the cold tone that Finral used, his parents would enter into the portal, as they can do nothing more but feel ashamed about what's been happening to their son. Now, after this, Finral will then turn to Longoris as the portal will then close, as he then gets into a combat stance, with Longoris scoffing, saying that he was going to annihilate him. At this, Finral laughs. Wouldn't be the first time, but unfortunately for you, I'm just going to have to repeat what happened last time. As soon as Finral says that, Longoris will then throw out multiple attacks at Finral, as he will shoot at these spatial balls, trying to instantly annihilate him, with Finral honestly dodging out of the way quite easily. He has seen faster attacks from members of the Black Bulls, and Longoris was nothing compared to fighting against Asta. So after dodging all these attacks, Finral would then appear right in front of him in the green flash, as with a very fast moves that he learned from Asta, he would actually end up bringing Longoris to his knees while holding his arms up by using his only one hand. Now this will happen so fast that Longoris had no idea how to even react to it, as he would then look at Finral with a surprised look, only to see Finral's cold eyes. I thought you were going to annihilate me. I guess you are once again nothing more but all talk. Pathetic younger brother. Now hearing these words, this will piss off Longoris, as he will then erupt with a ginormous amount of mana, causing Finral to of course teleport back, as he will then get angry. How dare you talk to me that way, you filthy human! At this, Longoris will then shoot out a ginormous wave of spatial matter, trying to evaporate and literally send Finral to who knows where, gonna destroy him either way. However, Finral seeing the attack would scoff. It seems as if no matter what he did, Longoris never learned. As this is when suddenly, as Longoris' attack was approaching Finral would then open up a ginormous green portal. Now at this point, the attack would then end up being absorbed by the portal, as Finral will stand his ground. Now seeing this, Longoris would of course scoff, saying that did he really think that it was going to stop him. However, as he does so, this one suddenly the portal would then open up above, but not only from above, but from all sides. As this one suddenly, multiple small green portals begin to form around Longoris. However, he had no idea. As this one suddenly, with the snap of his fingers, Finral can do nothing more but sigh. Spatial detonation. As soon as he says these words, all the miniature portals will then suddenly explode on themselves, causing Longoris to actually take the attack and causing him to scream out in pain as he falls unconscious, losing the fight to Finral, as Finral will be standing over him with a disappointing expression. Hopefully you learn better next time. At this one suddenly, Finral then sense the presence of Yami as well as Captain Jack, as soon as they arrive, they'll see Finral having finished off Longoris, as Yami would go on and whistle. Whew, man, nice job, kid. Now, of course, Jack was surprised at this, as he would actually wonder if Yami was actually willing to make a trade, considering the fact that Finral's mana reserves, as well as his magic, was that similar to that of a captain. As this is where we now change our point of view once again. Now, we now turn to Noelle, as we see her currently running through the house of Silva, along with Nozel, as they currently right now were heading off to the direction to where they sense a magical battle going on. As soon as they had arrived at the Silva base, they'll see that it had been attacked by a bunch of reincarnated elves. Now, this would of course piss off Nozel, as he instantly jumps off the Silva bird, I guess, I don't really know. But either way, he ends up jumping off of it, as he then rushes through the base, as Noelle would actually follow along with him, as she, although she did not really like the Silvas, even though she was one, in the end of the day, they were still family. So with no other choice, Noelle ends up following along with Nozel, as this is where we now turn back to the present to see them arrive at the room, as we see Solid currently right now laying on the bed, as he will be looking on with fear as a reincarnated elf that was from the Golden Dawn would then turn to them. More pestilent humans, huh? I guess you all really don't learn, do you? This will be the Compass Mage from the Golden Dawn, as instantly seeing this, Nozel would try to attack her, only for his attack to go off course, and end up hitting the wall as he looks on with surprise. Noelle seeing this would actually look on board, as she would then see Solid, currently right now just sitting on the bed looking on with a fearful expression, and overall she can do nothing more but think about how pathetic they are. As after Nozel's attempt at trying to hit her, the reincarnated elf would actually end up sending out multiple golden lances directly at him, as Nozel would actually end up trying to create like a shield, only for them to pierce through them easily and causing him to actually get multiple wounds. This would cause Solid to scream out in shock, as the rest of, after seeing this was now like a dire situation, Noelle decides to step in. Of course, seeing Noelle, the Compass reincarnated elf would then laugh, calling her useless and pathetic, to which Noelle just scoffs. Please, I'm way better off than these folks. After all, unlike them, I actually know what it's like to have a supportive family, and those that you can rely on and help you grow to get stronger. At this is when suddenly Noelle will then go into her Valkyrie transformation, as this will end up shocking Nozel, as he could see a silhouette of his mother, as she would be right there where Noelle was standing. As Solid would also end up getting this vision, as both of them can do nothing more but watch in shock. Now, seeing this, the reincarnated elf would actually be surprised at the magic that Noelle had, as she would then shoot out multiple golden lances at Noelle, who with her drill easily destroys them. Is that all? Oh well, my turn. At this when suddenly Noelle would then begin to shoot out the Sea Dragon's roar, as the Sea Dragon would suddenly shoot out from her drill, causing it to rush over and end up slamming into the reincarnated elf, knocking her out in an instant, as it would then crash through multiple walls of the Silva base and end up causing a ginormous explosion which destroys the roof of the Silva base. Now, this will shock the rest of the Silva siblings, as they can do nothing more but look on in shock, when Nozel can do nothing more but feel honestly proud of his sister, but also ashamed of himself, as this whole entire time he'd been coddling her and holding her back, unaware about the true potential she really had. After this, Nozel would try to speak up, but Noelle would just silence him by looking away and walking towards the reincarnated elf. After she ends up arriving there, she would then end up using a water binding, causing the reincarnated elf to be trapped and no longer able to move, so that way they can go on and interrogate her later. So with all that being said and done, this one finally we'd end up seeing Zora, who ends up arriving, as he would see the destruction that was caused, as well as Noelle like just binding up the reincarnated elf. I think he can do nothing more but think, what type of crazy team did I just join in? As his work was really cut out for him. So with that being said, we now turn our attention back to our protagonist's group, as after going around and charging in with the mechanical bull, they had been encountering a lot of reincarnated elves. Thanks to the fact that Raya had given off the announcement, a lot of the reincarnated elves are actually searching for Asta, and whenever they see the mechanical bull, it's kind of obvious that, that's the Black Bulls, and so due to that, they would think that Asta is inside, so they would of course try to attack them. However, with the help of the Black Bulls, they were easily able to overcome this and easily able to defeat all the reincarnated elves that come their way, which gives Asta the opportunity to absorb the mana, as well as allowing them to get out of the reincarnation process. However, these were not the only benefits, as after doing this, Asta would actually end up forming a miniature army of magic knights, as each time they would actually take them out and, get them out of the reincarnation process, more of the magic knights end up snapping back into their own consciousness, and after getting a rundown of the whole situation, they end up trying to team up with the Black Bulls, so that way they can help save the Clover Kingdom. So with that being said, the Black Bulls are not only going just by themselves, but they're also coming along with an entire army backing them up, as multiple magic knights that were once reincarnated elves were along with them. As we now turn our attention once again back to the Clover Kingdom, things over there were going quite well actually. Fuegoleon, since he was also there, would actually end up helping out, as he had been teamed up with the rest of the Crimson Lion Kings to defend their area. And with the Silva family, I actually almost called it the Nozel family, but whatever. As the Silva family was also looking up their wounds and everything, they were actually able to defend off against the reincarnated elves. And also, we end up turning to none other than the goat himself, Yami, as we see him currently facing off against Charlotte. And this time, once again, easily overpowering her, considering the fact that, just like the rest of the Black Bulls, he had also been training hard. After all, what type of leader was weaker than his own followers? Now, with that being said, we will now once again turn our attention back to the Black Bulls, as they had finally, after traveling a lot and defeating multiple amounts of the, reincarnated elves, they ended up charging through and actually jumping at the very center of the Clover Kingdom, as that's where most of the action was. As this is where we now get a very cool scene, as all the magic knights that are currently there that were fighting against the reincarnated elves, as we see the main ones being Yami, Noel, and even Finro, as all of them were fighting, they would then look up into the sky to see a ginormous mechanical bull. This will end up freezing the battle in place, as the Black Bulls will have a smile on their face. At this, they'll then see the mechanical bull slam into the center, as suddenly the very bull itself will then open up its doors, as flowing out like a bunch of ants, we will see multiple amounts of magic knights as they all appear ready to fight. As this one suddenly jumping out of the hatchet, they'll then see all the members of the Black Bulls that are currently there jumping out, as each one of them would then strike a pose, as Asta would then crouch down looking at everyone. "Clover Kingdom, we're here to fight!" he would shout, as he ends up having a ginormous smile on his face, as the reincarnated elves would then look at him in shock, while the Black Bulls as well as the rest of the Magic Knights can do nothing more but look on, as each one would have a smile on their face, as with a ginormous roar of acknowledgement, each one would then turn to reincarnated elf as the final showdown was about to begin. How do you guys think everything will blow over? How do you guys think the reaction will be after the event has passed? And overall, what do you guys think will the Midnight Sun do now that the Black Bulls have assembled an army to take them on? It is your host, Seiji Samurai, and I'm ending this part to the what if. Oh my gosh, guys, I got really rusty. It's been quite long, but still, I got pretty rusty on this one. I was legit having problems with saying words that I'm usually easily able to say. I was going around stuttering a lot more than I usually do. And overall, the storytelling is just, But the one thing I am glad of is the fact that I realized there was one reason why I was messing up a lot of my what ifs. And it was something that I'm surprised I didn't see much sooner. I overcomplicate things when I can do something better and just go straight to the point. I honestly felt kind of stupid for not noticing much sooner, but at the same time, I don't know. I guess I was slow or something. But that's besides the point, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Overall, what do you guys think of the story so far? How do you guys think it should end? And overall, what do you guys think I should do for the next part? It is your host, Seiji Samurai, and he's heading off. Have a lovely day. And overall, I will see you next time. Alright, bye guys. Bye.